Good morning, everyone. Today is day 84 of my 60 pounds and 90 days weight loss challenge, day 19 of my extended water fast, and today I want to tell you about the top 5 dangers of fasting. Alright everybody, so the first thing I'd like to say is that if you do have health concerns, it's more important to get medical supervision and to get your hormone balances and your electrolyte balances tested at a medical facility rather than consult YouTube. But I'm relatively healthy and I just want to share my experiences with you and what I've learned along the way while researching my fast. So my number one health concern is electrolyte imbalance. Not only can that lead to dehydration, which we've talked about before, which can lead to low blood pressure, low blood sugar, and lightheadedness, as well as dizziness that could keep you from getting throughout the day. It can also lead to muscle cramps. Well, not only are muscle cramps painful, but what would happen if it happened in your heart, which is a giant muscle? That could actually lead to an arrhythmia or even a heart attack. So it's very important that you make sure that your electrolytes are balanced, which is why you see me drinking Propel, adding pink Himalayan salt to my water, drinking Powerade Zero that has electrolytes in it. So I do try to make sure that I'm getting enough electrolytes, especially sodium and potassium. I also take a magnesium supplement. The number 2 danger of fasting is going to be low blood sugar, especially if you've battled with diabetes before or you're borderline diabetic. Your body may not be able to regulate your blood glucose levels as well as somebody who hasn't had those issues. Now, while I was insulin resistant, I never did have actual diabetes. So I'm relying on my body to create the glucose that my brain needs from proteins that are in my body. That leads me to my third danger of fasting, which long term could possibly be the biggest danger. And that is catabolization of your organs to meet those protein needs that your brain needs in glucose calories. I believe that your brain needs about 125 calories worth of glucose a day in order to continue to function properly, and that's going to get created in your liver. Your liver is going to break down proteins that are in your body in order to make that 125 calories of glucose. There are some people that say that it's 500 to 600 calories of glucose that your brain needs, but I believe that your brain is actually running on beta-hydroxybutyrate for the most part and only needs a small portion of glucose, that 125 calories worth. There are now people that are saying that you're going to lose a quarter ounce of muscle a day from the catabolization of the protein to create that glucose. I also don't necessarily believe that's true because I've seen other people doing tests prior to and after a fast, and their muscle tone hasn't changed, or it's actually even increased in some instances. There are proteins in your body that your body doesn't need that I feel will be used up first. But it is a risk because we don't know that for sure. So while I feel like the body is designed in such a way that it's going to use proteins that I don't need, like my extra skin, like the extra capillaries that were running through the fat that I don't have anymore, like the cell walls that are made up for the fat cells that I don't need anymore, like proteins that are stored in my brain that eventually could lead to Alzheimer's. So I'm trying to rid my body of these extra proteins, and that's one of the reasons why I don't mind if my body is using up some protein to create some glucose. However, if you're concerned that it's going to eat your muscle or going to eat your organs in order to produce that glucose level, that's something that you should definitely be concerned about. My number 4 risk is going to be low blood pressure. If you have blood pressure issues already, if your blood pressure is extremely low, I would suggest that you don't do this because fasting absolutely lowers your blood pressure. I believe that's the reason why I've been lightheaded this whole time, and it seems like that's a pretty common effect from extended fasts. I have to manage I have to make sure that I don't spring up, otherwise I get lightheaded and I have to stand there and go, oh, I'm lightheaded, and then it takes me a couple seconds before I can move on. Now, it hasn't become an issue for me, and it's actually gotten a little bit better over the last couple days, But still, if I'm squatting down or if I'm laying down in bed and then I stand up quickly, the blood rushes out of my head and I have to wait for it to return for a couple seconds. So low blood pressure could absolutely be a danger, especially if you're such low blood pressure that you're getting dizzy enough that you fall down and hit your head, right? I mean, that's an immediate danger. The number 5 danger that I want to talk about, and something that happens after your fast, is called refeeding syndrome. Refeeding syndrome happens because your body is not used to eating, and it's not used to metabolizing food after an extended fast. And so once you start eating, it actually upsets your electrolyte balance then, and your hormone balance then, and your body can get basically out of whack and start shutting down, and that can do damage to your organs. So it has to be a managed refeeding cycle for you when you come off your fast. You can't just come off your fast and then run out to a hamburger joint and have a big old hamburger and french fries and then binge for the next 3 days. You might actually die. So when you go to end your fast, you need to be very careful. I would suggest, and this is, like I said, I'm not a medical professional, but my suggestion would be to eat less than 500 calories for a couple days, eat very simple foods. I would actually, even though I'm normally on a high-fat diet, I would try to eat a little bit lower fat foods, things that are simple to digest, because that refeeding syndrome can be dangerous. And that's going to be my plan, and I'm going to have to do a whole video on my plan and refeeding syndrome, because we don't really have time for it in this video. But those are my top 5 dangers of fasting, and I wanted to share those with you right now because I have people that are starting to say that they're starting a fast and they're looking to my videos for advice, and I want them to be aware that it's not all rainbows and lollipops, right? There are risks to fasting that I'm aware of, and I've reasoned out those risks, and I think that I believe that they're not as big a risk as people make them out to be, and so that's why I'm willing to take those risks. But I want you to be fully aware of them and consult medical professionals if you think that these risks might apply to you. Anyway, here is my weigh-in from today. I believe it is I think it is the lowest weight that I've seen yet, but not by much, because if I recall 2 days ago I was 234.8. This morning it was 234.6, so it went up a little bit in the interim there. So I think it's a little bit lower, but it's not much lower. Hopefully I lose a couple more pounds over the next couple days now that it's going down a little bit. Plus, I'm planning on increasing my water intake and decreasing all my other 0-calorie drink intakes, so that hopefully the water can flush me out good before my weigh-in next week. Anyway, have a good day, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. 234.6.